Hey there, and welcome to this week's episode of the Australian Small Business Show. Matt, how are you?
Great, Kristy-Lee. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. We shared last week that I was off to a mastermind meeting at the time we
Yep.
recorded, and I'm back.
How'd you go?
And it was a lot of fun. I'm not sure the middle of Australia is going to be the same again after having our group there, but we had a great time. I often come out of my mastermind meetings either like bullet a gate with a very clear direction of exactly the next things I'm doing, or with a lot to think about. And this was one of the leaving the meeting with a lot to think about scenarios, which has led us to today's topic.
Great. So what are we talking about today?
Matt's like totally deferred to me for this episode by the sound of it. I wanted to talk about why we're actually building our businesses. And the
Is
reason
that is that a question we ask ourselves sometimes on those bad days? Why the hell am I doing this?
yeah, we, if you haven't asked yourself that, you haven't been in business long enough, would be my argument. Um, well, it kind of came about because of some of the work I was doing on at Mastermind on a few different things. And my mastermind wasn't about this topic particularly, but it did get me thinking. And I think sometimes in business, we have a very clear plan and a very clear goal, and that's great. But I had a little realization that I did have a clear goal, but it wasn't really my goal. It was a goal I'd set because I thought I should set it. And I wasn't really inspired or motivated by it. And I've been in business 20 years this year, and I've definitely been through seasons where I'm really clear on exactly what I'm building and why I'm building it. And I've been through seasons where that's had to change or I've wanted to change it. I've pulled down business structures and done all sorts of crazy things. But that happens when you're in business a long time. And sometimes when you're creating for the wrong reasons or building for the wrong reasons, it's very easy to wander off track, I think.
Yep. I think it can evolve too in terms of,
It should evolve, yeah.
if you've had this really good business idea at the start and you've got an idea of where it's going to take you and suddenly it takes you in a different direction as well. So, I mean, if I think about my current accounting business, now this is not my first go at this in growing an accounting business, but my current one really, when it started, it was a security thing for me, and it was more about generating an income
Hmm.
for the family because I
Hmm.
kind of floated around a little bit. I'd become unemployable in
Anyone
certain
that's been in
ways in
business a
terms
long
of
time.
yeah. So I got to the point where I could not work for anyone else. So this opportunity arose, and it was really about supporting you in terms of you growing your business and your because at the time your goals were to to grow.
Hmm.
But this accounting business has kind of grown so much in the last 2 years that has completely changed.
Yeah, and I think that evolution happens for lots of reasons. The market has changed in the world that I'm in. Like, if I don't change, I'm not going to have a
Yep.
business. Like, the market has shifted beneath my feet. And that is the case for a lot of people that I'm talking to, that the market has changed. And that's not the case for everyone. But if you don't evolve in those scenarios, then you're not going to be in business. And I think evolution can come from, your desire to change in a different direction, or you want to do something different, or because the environment around us in business tells us, like, and both are okay.
Yeah, exactly. So what are some reasons why people would be growing their business?
Look, I'll share the mantra that I had when I started my business back in 2006. I was so young. I wanted to build an empire. Like, I wanted, I'm
Be
not
your
even
own
joking.
boss.
It wasn't even just about being my own boss. That was certainly part of my decision, but I wanted to build my own thing. Like, I'd grown up, my grandfather had a timber factory. He was a timber pattern maker. So I'd grown up around people that had their own thing. I didn't want to work for someone else. Like, I
Now,
wanted to have my own thing.
have we talked about that before on the podcast? Your grandfather, and if you're our age, I
Yep.
won't give away our ages.
Gen X, we'll call it Gen
Gen
X.
X, you'll remember when you went to primary school, there was a meter long ruler with a little handle on it that the teachers used to underline on the chalkboard. Um,
Yeah.
that was your grandfather's
Yes. If you went to a
design and
pub,
build.
yeah, if you went to a public school in New South Wales, primary or high school, of the generation where we had chalkboards before whiteboards and smartboards and all other things, you'll remember the timber meter rulers and the timber, what are they called? Set square things?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that what you draw a
Yep.
circle with? Yeah. And I'm reliably assured also the dusters and the wooden handle on
All
those
right,
that
cool.
got thrown at people. Yeah, my grandfather designed and made all of those for every New South Wales public school. So I grew up playing in the sawdust and doing those things. So I always wanted that, but I didn't just want a job for me. I wanted to build an empire. Like literally, that was my mantra. I wanted to build something that was big and aspirational, I guess, and that
Yep.
employed lots of people and that had a legacy. Um, the first 7 years of my business, that was my North Star. That's what I was going for. And that was a really good, clear direction for me. That
And part
changed.
of and important for you too is that giving back to community. I know that footprint recruitment, which is where you started,
Mm.
every year ran an annual event to raise
Mhm.
money for a local charity as well. So that was really important to you as well.
Yeah, it was, I mean, it was a very local business, which is very different to the business I have now. So giving back to the local community and really being an advocate for small businesses in our area was very important to me. I would talk about that a lot. I would speak on stages. We were running charity events. I was participating in charity events. I danced once on a stage.
Oh yeah, you did
Um,
too.
so yeah, that was definitely part of I wanted to give back to that community and to service that community really well. That was very important to me. So that kind of, contribution can be something that's some people build businesses entirely out of a desire
Absolutely.
to contribute back to, and it doesn't have to be charitable, although for a lot of people it is, it's contributing back to their community or to an industry. So that can be a real driver. So contribution is definitely one reason.
So for me, lifestyle is important too. A lot of people are growing a small business because they want the freedom to be able to, go for a surf at
Mm,
lunchtime or, be there for the kids for all the school events. So I think that's very important for some small business owners too, isn't it?
absolutely. And I think the whole mumpreneur movement was built off the back of mums, obviously, in that particular space, wanting to build businesses that allowed them to still be mums, not to have to swap or choose that. I don't put myself in that category whatsoever, but there's a whole, I would call it a movement that's based on that desire to be able to independently have their own thing and not have to choose between being a parent and being employed or running a business.
Yeah, but for me, it's certainly about lifestyle. It's about being able to go for a run around the lake when there's not 1,000 people.
It's flexibility, right? It's for me, my, you know, core value in running a business is freedom. And that is freedom of location, freedom of time, financial freedom, all of those things center for me around freedom. And that I think drives more young business owners. Like a lot of the business owners I talk to who are, young business owners running trade businesses or whatever they're
Yeah.
running, their desire for lifestyle and a balance that suits wherever they're at in their season, that was a driver that did not exist for us Gen Xers back in the day.
No. Well,
It's
I
a
think it was more legacy. You
mhm.
brought up tradespeople. I think
Yep.
if you think back to, and even in accounting, you started an accounting business. A lot of the businesses that were floating around the Central Coast were taken over by kids. So there
Yep.
was like this legacy going on. I think that's certainly gone away, has been replaced by that lifestyle. Because I don't think, I mean, I wouldn't even consider talking to my children about becoming an accountant, not because it's terrible, but because that's not how it works now.
No, no, that generational career path is largely gone, and that's probably for the best because people are going to be doing what they're driven by, not what they're expected to
And
do.
and
So
the young ones do seven or seven careers now as opposed to that one that we sort of locked into.
yeah, exactly. It's interesting. I had a chat to our 15-year-old just last week, and she's got lots of different interests. And I was encouraging her, she can do this and that. And she's being told by other
She's
adults in
got
her
four
life.
jobs.
Yeah, she's been told by other adults in her life she's got to pick one path and just dedicate herself to that. And I said, absolutely not. Like you can do all these things. So we're going to see that generation of um, I don't know the word, multi-passionate entrepreneurs coming through. So yeah, freedom, lifestyle, flexibility is definitely one reason. There's another one though, and you're building a business for this purpose at the moment, building something to sell, building a saleable asset.
Yeah, wealth creation. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. So that's what I was saying earlier that, the way I'm approaching running my business now has certainly changed since it started 5 years ago, this
Mm,
particular accounting firm. And I now am focused on building it as big as it can be to sell it.
yeah. And that's, I think having, and the reason I wanted to have this discussion is having the clarity. about why you're building what you're building informs every decision. And what I realized at Mastermind was I didn't have that clarity anymore. It gotten fuzzy, and I've since
Yep.
had a light bulb moment and have some more clarity. And the moment that that clicked in, everything else just became really focused. And that's the case, I know, for you building a saleable asset, like building a business to sell. Every decision that you make in that business is based around, is this getting me faster,
Well,
more effectively to that
yeah,
end goal?
I think it actually changes your focus from short term to long term. So
Yeah.
things like a client leaving or something that might have stressed me, you know, when I was just looking at it as an income stream,
Mm,
that sort of goes away because you're kind of focused on the long term. Clients come and go, but the goal is to have more than I had 5 years ago when I sell it.
mm,
So, it's about attracting new clients. Yes, clients will come and go for, particularly in self-managed super funds and superannuation, clients turn 80, 85, and they
mm.
can no longer manage this. So, you wind the fund up and from my perspective, if I'm looking to sell my accounting business in, say, 5 years' time, 10 years' time, then I need to look at that next generation. So that's where my focus is in terms of growth and stuff like that. So it does actually impact your decisions
Yeah,
as
it
well.
impacts your marketing decisions, it impacts your retention strategy decisions. Like there's a lot that goes into it when you know what game you're playing. And I think that's what
Exactly.
it comes down to. What game are you playing? And you're right, the second you know that, you suddenly start playing a much longer term game. Like I was doing some strategy work this morning and it wasn't about what I'm going to do today. It's like, this is the goal that I now have with this new clarity in 18 months. What
Yeah.
do I need to do to make sure that can happen in 18 months? And I think having that clarity, because if you've been in business any length of time, to our listeners, you will lose that little zest that you once had. If you haven't been in business long enough. And it gets a bit fuzzy. And then you're just going through the motions. And then you're going to wake up one day and realize that I didn't achieve what I wanted to achieve. This business didn't give me what I needed it to. And you don't want that to happen.
No, I think there's probably even listeners to this podcast that may have entered the role of small business owner reluctantly as well. It
Mm,
might have been, like a knee-jerk reaction to a bad boss or something like that, where they've ended up in as a small business owner.
mm.
Um, so there's so many different reasons why you start a business, and I think knowing why you're doing what you're doing is really important.
Yeah. Yeah. I think really what our message is today is, are you clear about why you're building the business you're building? And if you're not, I would personally recommend doing some work on that, because when you know the game you're playing, you can win at it. But when you're not clear, you're going to lose at all the games.
Well, that's right, and it ties into everything we talk about. So if you know that what your end game is,
Mm,
then things like hiring staff and your marketing and sales and all and your internal systems and processes. Because for me, um, making the decision that I want to build this as a wealth creation vehicle means that when you're selling your business, you're not just selling, the stock, you're selling the systems, you're selling the people and all that kind of stuff. So you know, your final goal really dictates how you run your business.
mm, absolutely. So, listeners, what game are you playing? Why are you building your small business? We would actually really love to hear from you, because we've touched on some of the key reasons today, but I'm sure there's more that we've missed. And we really want to know. We want to understand why you're building your small business. So could you let us know? You can find us on the socials at Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, I believe. I don't check it. Matt will be there.
I'm
Um,
there.
or what's the email address if someone wanted to email us, Matt?
You can get me at matt@thefootprintgroup.com.au, and I'll get back to you. Be great to hear from you all.
Yeah, absolutely. So reach out to us, let us know. You can find me on all the socials, christy.lee.billet. I'll put all the links in the show notes, but we really actually want to hear from you. So come and tell us, why are you building your small business?
Awesome. Thanks, Christy.
Thanks, Matt.